Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another session on Counselor University. My name once again is Emene Fayin, and today we'll be sharing with you on what I've termed the refugee principle. Basically, this principle is what you do to relieve financial and emotional pressure when they come so greatly on you, especially in a very difficult time like the one we're experiencing in our country and in our continent. I want to start by thanking Tony Elumelu Foundation for sponsoring this program and investing in Counselor University to enable us bring this program to people like you. Now, I want to teach on this principle, which I term the refugee principle, because a lot of us are passing through serious financial and emotional challenges. A lot of us are finding it difficult to even meet most of our basic needs, and we really don't know where to turn to. Unusually and strangely in Nigeria, the incidence of suicide has increased drastically, and people are really wondering how can average Nigerians who love life so much suddenly find life so despairing that they take their own life. The principle I want to share with you today are principles that can enable you avoid going to the extreme of pushing yourself beyond the brinks. And this principle I got by researching most of the things that King David did in the Psalms. Now, if you have been reading the Psalms in the Bible, you notice that he talked a lot of the Lord being his refuge or going into the shelter of the Lord. And also you find something a bit strange. You know, when Herod the Great wanted to kill the new child Jesus, something strange happened. They took the baby Jesus into the refuge in Egypt. It means that when we are faced with serious emotional and financial and psychological pressure, we need to have a set of refuges where we can run to that can shelter us from the source of the pressure. I can tell you that if you don't take out time to have this refuge, which I'll be listening to you, then you find it very difficult. It will be extremely difficult for you to survive this financial turmoil, the financial pressure that will be coming upon you. Now, I want to share with you some personal experiences, and inside it, I'll be sharing with you how I've been able to use this principle of the refuge principle. Now, a few days back, for a few weeks, I've been in a business transaction with some of my clients, and they were running into some millions. And because I was sure that this transaction was going to be concluded, there were some business expenses that were running that I said, okay, when I receive this payment, with it, I can be able to accept this debt. I also had taken some loans, which I said, okay, at least with the income I'm expecting, with it I can easily offset my debt, my loan payment and the interest when they were due. So, we have fixed a date. My client had actually told me, okay, come on this date to pick your check so that we can conclude this deal. And on the day, and on the 12th hour, not even the 11th hour, when I was just on my way to go and pick up the check, this guy called me to say they were sorry, they were canceling the deal. When I heard this, I could not believe my ears. What do I need to do to the loans I needed to take care of? What do I need to do to those that promised that I was going to take care of their business deals, the amount I was owing them? You know, when I got home that day, I didn't really know where to start from, and things were so. In fact, when I got home and I just sat down, I was so depressed. And when my wife saw me, she started to talk to me. And that was the first refuge that everybody needs to have, is your emotional refuge. Emotional refuge is somebody that you go to when things are so difficult for you. Somebody who can talk to you and take off the emotional pressure from you. You know, she started to talk to me and to explain to me, see, guy, this is not the first time things like this is happening to you. You have survived it. You have succeeded you have survived other times that even worse financial pressure than this. So relax. A way will always come up. She also told me the times where, you know, I felt that things were getting out of control and there was nothing I could do. She told me how I was able to get out of it. This is the first refuge that every individual needs to have, which is an emotional relationship refuge. A refuge where you can come to and people can take off, you know, start to talk to you and take off that emotional and financial pressure off you. Yeah, despite the fact that the source of your worry has not been taken care of, but at least it gives you some psychological rest for you to take off that pressure from you. You know, the Bible tells us a lot of time that Mary, the mother of Jesus, will hear certain things about her son and to tell her she will meditate upon it on her heart. You know, think about Jesus growing up and this woman coming to when when he was playing, he hurts himself, you come to take care of it. That is why you need to have somebody, a relationship. You need to have at least one relationship that when things become so challenging, you can just go to this person and this person will tell you, say, relax, even this will pass. You need a relationship that can take off these pressures from you. Even if they don't find the immediate solution, but at least they can tell you, give you hope that you can actually overcome. The first refuge you need is a relationship refuge. The next refuge you need is a spiritual refuge. You know, I was listening to the great man Napoleon Hill, and in his talk, he said that there are 5 things that are constant in the universe. He said the first one is matter. The second one is space. The next one is time. And the fourth one is matter, time, space, the universe. And the fifth one, which is said, without which no other thing can exist, is an infinite intelligence. He said that you can call it whatever you want to call it. You can call it God, you can call it Yahweh, you can call it Buddha. But you need to understand that there's an infinite intelligence that is out there that takes care of our activities on earth. That you need to see him as somewhere you can run to when things are very difficult for you. And you know, science has proved that every nation that does not have a spiritual refuge that they turn to when things are so difficult, find it extremely challenging to overcome most of their economic problem. That is why it has been, you know, there was a time Nigeria was studied as a nation. Why has this nation collapsed, considering the amount of pressure, the amount of challenges that the nation has gone through? And it was found out that the key reason why this nation, Nigeria, has survived was basically because a lot of Nigerians are spiritual. When things become so difficult for us, we run into the refuge of spirituality. And this essentially kind of takes our problem and places it in the hand of God, who will say, okay, we've come under your shadow, so this problem will put it into you. You need to have, secondly, a spiritual refuge where you run to. Like, I strongly recommend you running to God, but like Napoleon Hill said in his talk, you need to run into an infinite intelligence that you feel that is more intelligent than you and can easily and readily take care of your challenge. The next refuge that you must have is a hope refuge. Essentially, part of the reason how I was able to, absorb the financial pressure that came from the collapse of this financial transaction was that I had a future I could look up to. I'm expecting, at least I had an expectation of Tony Elumelu is investing in us and he's also going to bring in about $10,000 into our business. So, and the payment will be coming in about 30 days. So I have hope, I have what I was looking up to. So I could easily run into this refuge and say, okay, no matter what happens, I have this amount that will come into this business, and with it, I can take care of most of this challenge that will come in. You also need to have hope. Hope is a refuge that you say, okay, this is what I'm looking up to, so I know that this is going to come. And because of it, this pressure that is coming to me is essentially taken care of. You also need to run into this refuge, because if you don't have this refuge of hope, it will be very difficult for you to survive. The next refuge that you need to have is better knowledge. For anything that is facing you, there's actually a better knowledge out there for you. Which is why it's important that it's been advocated that everybody, even before the pressure comes on you, you need to start to read and attend courses so that you can obtain better knowledge. See, for that thing that is coming to you as a massive pressure, there's somebody to whom is basically nothing. You know, recently I was listening to a great speaker, Ojo Yemade. He said that somebody went into a church to pray and was praying, God, inspire me with wisdom to transform lives. And beside him was somebody who was praying for, God, give me a car. He said, when this man was praying and the other was praying for God, give me a car, he just said, young man, what's the problem? He said, I need a car. He said, take this check, can take care of your car needs. Go there and solve your problem so that God can focus on me. It means that when you have better knowledge, you can actually look at a problem and say, see, it's not a big problem. For instance, now, let's say you come home now and you touch the forehead of your child, and the temperature is rising very, very high. If you are not a medical person, to you that will be an immense problem, and you might start to run helter-skelter. But for me, because I have a medical background, because I read pharmacy, when I touch my son's or daughter's forehead and it's hot, it won't really bother me much. What I essentially do is to get an anti-malaria, get an analgesic, and give to the child. And I'm very sure that in less than 2 hours, the child will be up and running. Because I have better knowledge than the average man, such a thing, when they come to me, wouldn't bother me. That is why, over the past 5 to 10 years, I don't think for my family I've spent more than 10,000 naira in medical bills, because I have better knowledge in that area. If you don't have the refuge of better knowledge, I can tell you that financial pressure will destroy you. And for me, because I have better knowledge, I can easily rack my brain and say, okay, these are sources, alternative sources of income that I can activate, which is essentially what I did. After speaking with my wife, the next day I sat and said, okay, what do I need to do? I said immediately to activate other sources of income, via which I've been able to offset some of my obligation that came due. You also need to start to acquire better knowledge, especially financial knowledge, because most of the pressures that will be coming to you will be financially related. And if you don't have the knowledge that can handle better financial knowledge, you can find out that this problem will challenge and overcome you. For instance, let's say you have a loan is coming due. If you don't understand there's actually ways of restructuring loan, this financial challenge will actually overwhelm you and even can lead you to psychological crisis. The next refuge you need to run into is having experienced refuge. You know, when this pressure came, part of the things I started to think about was my experience. You know, I remember when my first business collapsed, and then for me to even feed my family, I needed to borrow from a sales boy about 2,000 naira or 3,000 naira for me to be able to feed my family. So when I thought of how I could overcome that challenge of a business that was doing turnover of, at least then we were doing turnover of about close to 3 to 4 million per month, which we were averaging about 30 to 50 million per year. And for me to crash, you have nothing, and be able to build up a business now that even foundation like Tony Elumelu are even pouring money into. I look at my previous experience, see that yes, I've had experiences of this in the past, so this is nothing new. So I tapped into my previous experience and knew that I survived it. So I could also look into the future. I know that even this one too, I cannot survive it. So also, you also need to create experiences. Experience refuge that you can run into when things now start to happen to you. You say, okay, I've experienced this thing before, so it's nothing new. It's when you have experienced things before and they happen to you and you know it's nothing new, that's why it will be easier for you to overcome. Experience refuge are very critical for you. The next thing next refuge you must have is social refuge, which is a network of people who you can come to and you can discuss your challenge to, who are upward looking, who are future looking, and they can discuss with you the challenge and say, these are solutions. You know, recently, the old bar association of my school formed a WhatsApp group. And you know, within this group, we discuss challenges and we proffer solutions to each other's challenge. And that way, a lot of things that would have overwhelmed us as individuals, we can leverage our networks, and with that, we are overcoming these challenges. You know, recently, part of when I was facing some serious financial challenges, I leveraged this social network, and one of the members of my former old bar association was able to bail me out financially. That is a kind of refuge you need to have. Start to develop social networks, build relationships, join clubs, associations that when you have challenges you can run to, and a member of it can easily come to your refuge, to your help. The next refuge you must have is what I call meditation refuge. You need to have something you meditate upon every day. For me, what I tell myself on a constant basis is that I'm confident that God has taken care of all my needs. I'm committed to doing what His assignment for me is. And I'm dedicated to let me take it again. I'm confident that God has taken care of all my needs. I'm courageous in pursuing His assignment to me, and I'm determined to achieve it because I know I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Every day I repeat this thing over and over and over to myself, because I tell myself that I'm confident that God has taken care of all my needs. I'll be courageous in pursuing His assignment to me. You know, my assignment, what I believe is God's assignment to me, is for me to share teach people on how to overcome business challenges. So every day I remind myself of the assignment that God has given me, and I tell myself, and I'm determined to achieve it because I know I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Because I run into this refuge and I tell myself this over and over and over again. You know, it has been proven that when you have something and you repeat it to yourself over and over again, even whether it's a truth or a lie, that your brain, that your subconscious mind cannot actually separate what is the truth and what is lie. That when you start to repeat something to yourself over and over and over again, with time your brain, your subconscious mind will start to believe it, and believe it so strongly that it will start to generate resources for you to achieve that thing you've set for yourself. So that is why for me, you know, when every day when one of the things you also need to do over your meditation is you also need to create a mental picture. You know, when I say that God has taken care of all my problems, I have all the things that I feel that will come as a problem, I see myself placed in the hand of God. Now, when I say that I'll be courageous in pursuing His purpose for my life, what I see is a mental picture of the institution I be, where people are teaching and coaching a lot of business people, hundreds and millions of thousands. I have a mental picture of hundreds and thousands of pictures of business people who have business challenges that I know they want to overcome, and I tell them that I'm determined to achieve them. Now I now see where, you know, a stadium filled of very successful people who we've coached and who we've trained to become very successful. So I have this mental image that I'm showing myself, and I'm repeating it over and over again. And with that, you know, I'm constantly repeating this, and this thing has created a mental picture, and it's creating a pathway for me. In challenges, I see this thing, and when I repeat it, you know, it gives me an emotional relief and psychological relief so that I can move forward. You also need to have this meditation. If you don't do it, I can tell you that the financial and economic challenge that we are facing in this country will weigh you down. Now, but there are also some dangerous refuge that I want to be aware of and also to avoid. The first one, you know, I noticed this refuge when I went to see one of our students, a student of Counselor University. When I got to her place, she said that things have been very bad for her. You know, business had been very tight and challenging. But that she found something very strange. She pointed her neighbor out to me, who was running a bar, and said that despite the challenges in the country, the bar was always full. That people were always coming to drink. That was when it occurred to me that people were running to drinks and alcoholism as a refuge of overcoming their challenges, to help them to forget their problem. This is a refuge you must be aware that will draw you in, but which you must avoid. If you are not avoid, this is the period that most people will turn into alcoholics. When the pressure becomes so much and they don't realize the first 7 refuges I've mentioned, which are spiritual refuge, relationships, so emotional refuge, and hope refuge, better knowledge refuge, experience refuge, financial refuge, social refuge, and meditation refuge. Where they don't realize this, they run into drinking refuge, and that can destroy you. The next dangerous refuge you must avoid is illicit relationship refuge. What you need to start to realize that when things start to become challenging to you, suddenly people with illicit intention, you know, people start to get into illicit relationship. Is when you know, a man in the office, his secretary start to listen to him so much, start to put relate his challenges to his secretary. Before you know it, he finds himself in illicit sexual relationship. You need to beware of who you share your problem with. The next refuge you must avoid is pity party, where people gather together and all they do is just to share how things are very bad. You need to don't join in the refuge of pity parties. That is why the social relationships you need to build, you need to be very careful to make sure that these are people who are upward looking, people who are always actually there to look out for problems, and not people who are just there to celebrate their problem. You know, recently one of our students called me to say, so things are very bad for her. Is this the same way things are bad for every other people? I realized that what she was looking out for was for me to just say, yes, things are bad for every other person, so that she can now say, okay, I'm not alone in this. You need to avoid this kind of mindset of going into pity party clubs. These are dangerous refuges that can destroy you. The next refuge also you need to avoid is withdrawal refuge. When this program becomes so difficult for you, you find yourself withdrawing and isolating yourself. That are time when suicidal tendencies starts to come in. That are time when turning to drugs start to come in. It is critical for you and very important for you to have mentors and coaches. And that is part of the things we offer to our students as Counselor University. We offer them mentorship, we offer them coaching sessions where they share their problem with us and we discuss it and point out ways out for them. It's important for you to do this. That is where programs like this are very important for you. You watch them and they can encourage you, they show you way out and the ways to avoiding this bad refuge and how to seek the good refuge. If the Bible can tell us, if David can repeatedly tell us in the Bible that the Lord is our refuge, the Lord is his refuge, it means that these are refuge, the good refuge are the ones that we need to build. And there's one very, very important refuge that I missed that I think is very important, which is inspiring message refuge. Every day you must listen to at least one inspiring message. The one I'll highly recommend, for me, I have listed a list of speakers that I must listen to at least once every day. Mensa Otterbills, Miles Monroe, to the Bismarck, who else? T.D. Jakes, about 10 of them. The people I listen to on a daily basis. Napoleon Hill. And I want you also to go to YouTube and download Napoleon Hill's messages. It's called Rare Recordings by Napoleon Hill. Just search Napoleon Hill and add Rare Recordings. About 10 messages will come. Make sure in this particular season that you listen to these 10 messages. There are messages that I can guarantee will help you overcome the financial and emotional pressure that these times are putting on us and also help you to overcome them. I also listened to a message by somebody called W. Clement Stone. These guys are somebody with wonderful message that can help you. So, I hope I've been able to inspire you, to help you to alleviate the emotional and financial pressure that is being upon you. That is why I also want you to invite you to, register for one of our courses on Counselor University. Click on the link above or visit www.counseloruniversity and click on the menu register. Register for our course and we'll take it up from there. We'll guide you on how to raise finances for your business. We'll guide you on how to write business plans. We'll also take you one of our courses which on how to build executive confidence, which is the confidence to run an executive organization. We hope you left something. And for those of you who want to call us, you can reach us on 080-2362-2171. Once again, we know we are passing a trying time in this country, but we believe that by working together, we can overcome these challenges. I want to say thank you for listening to us, and we'll look forward to you watching the next session or signing up for one of our courses. Thank you once again, and God bless you.